What's happening, my future debt-free millionaires? Hey, Zach Edwards here for another episode of the Debt-Free Millionaire podcast. This season is all about personal finance. This week, we've been talking about employment and how to make more money from your employment. Now, I'm going to do an activity today that is basically just for youth or people who have not actually gone out for trying to get hired. So this could be a stay-at-home mom that's deciding to go out for the first time and get a job. This can be a dad that's been out of employment. So myself, I was a stay-at-home dad for about 2.5 years because my ex-wife was going back to school right before we got divorced. And so I was taking care of the kids. I was also doing a bunch of other things, doing my own business and such. So when I came back, I had to remind myself a little bit more of the interview process. So for this activity, we're going to present this more for youth, but it could be for anybody that's going into getting a job. Okay, so there are some things you need to know up front. One, it's never that easy to get a job. My current wife, got very, she was very jealous that when I went for a job as a construction manager during a boom time, that I was hired right off the spot, first job interview, because it took her about 6 months to find a job. But the thing is that was a booming economy for house building. Right now, I was looking for a job a little while ago, and I didn't find one. And so I ended up deciding, you know what? I'm done with going back to home building, especially because every time there's a recession, the housing industry crumbles and people get laid off. So I didn't want to be in that flux. As of right now, everyone knows that the economy is not coming back, at least not this year. The housing industry is not coming back, at least for this year. Why? Because most sales in real estate happen before August 15th. Why is that? It's because everyone that has a family who normally would buy a house is looking for a school that their kids can attend. That's why they're going to do all their moving before that time. If they have to move for a job, if they have to move into another house. Most people, because the high interest rates, are not buying new houses. Everyone knows this. Because the interest rates are too high, people are like, I'm not going to get rid of my 3% interest rate to go get a 7% interest rate and lose so much money just to get a little bit bigger house. Most of the time, they can actually wait. They can wait a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years. But this year, we know that if the Fed decides to drop their rates, it will probably not be within the summer, which is when more houses would be sold and more houses would be purchased. So if they're not going to raise it during the summer, drop it during the summer, it won't matter if they drop it later in the year. Yes, there will be a few increases in house sales as opposed to last year when the interest rates were high. But as per our normal economy, most people are not going to uproot their family during the school season and move their kids when they don't have to. Those that need to, that's one thing. And that's what happened basically last year too, and they accepted the higher rates. Now, just so you know, our rates used to be about 3%. Now they're at 7%, somewhere in between. And they are going up and down every single day. You don't know where it's going to be until the day that you look and find out what the rate is. So you could get a great rate one day and have a better rate the next day. Or you can go in and have a okay rate and then have a horrible rate the next day. You don't know until you actually go out and try to buy a house. So because of what's happening with the economy, and that's real estate is the biggest driver for our economy during the summer. Yes, it's also travel, and those things do great, but you're talking about hundreds of dollars opposed to hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars for a house. So that is one of the biggest indicators for our economy. And if the interest rates stay low, then they have no reason to jump into if the interest rates stay high, they have no reason to jump into a house. If they drop after the summer, they have no reason to jump into a new house because all I have to do is wait till the next summer. And as long as those interest rates haven't gone back up, which they usually, when the Fed brings them down, it's because they're going to be going down over a long period of time. Now, the fear is, and we're going to actually find out a little bit more today about job numbers and how the economy is doing. So that will come out later today, and maybe I'll give an update on that. But one thing to know is that as we get into the Christmas season, we're going to see an increase in full-time and part-time work. Why is that? It's because it's seasonal. These are all seasonal jobs. So when the federal government comes out and says, hey, we had a great month, everything's gone up. Yeah, of course it is. It's Christmas. It's Thanksgiving. It's Halloween. It's all these different retail times because, truthfully, what are those holidays now about? Retail. They weren't. They were religious before, but now they've gone more to retail. And because of that, the jobs increase during that time. So if you want to find a job, a great way of getting your foot in the door is to look around October, November, December. Those will get you in the door. It does not mean that you'll solidify a job, but they'll get you in the door into a job that you might want to have. So just a hint, I would bring that up later on when we're talking about the job interview activity. But I just wanted to give you a heads up that as of right now, no economist is saying that the economy will do better the rest of the year if the Fed does not drop the rates before the end of the summer. So as long as that does not happen, be okay with waiting for the best job until the next year when the economy starts to increase. And will that be because of inflation going down? Maybe. Will it be because of the Fed's dropping interest rates? Partially. Will it be because of new administration? That's a good indicator. If we have an old administration, we go by the same failed policies, then yes, we will probably have the same failed policies. Now, if we go into new administration and they follow the same failed policies, then we're going to have the same results. So, this all being said, and this is interesting because, again, I'm not a Trump supporter or Biden supporter or Kennedy supporter. I'm not a supporter of any politician or political party. But the truth is in 2020, when Trump lost the race, it was interesting because I was talking to a bunch of Trump supporters and I told them, it's like, you know what, if he was to lose the race, it was the best time to lose the race because because of his policies and other policies before him, we have not hit a recession. It kept going up, kept going up, kept going up, and it was ready to come down. With the wrong policies, it would come down. Well, what happened in this administration? Well, a little bit of the bad policies, but also because we were waiting for a recession to happen, our economy did horribly. Yes, it did horribly. Inflation went up. Employment, though they say it's stable, the full-time employment went down, and the part-time work went up. Part-time work goes up. That's great. People that need part-time work, they can find it. Some people are getting second jobs because they can't afford the inflation that happened. All this being said is that when it comes to the economy, the best thing to do is if you are waiting to buy a house and the economy is not doing well and the inflation is up, don't buy a house. If the interest rates are down and the economy is not doing well, it's the best time to buy a house, because buying a house means that you're going to people can't afford their house. They're going to foreclose on their house. That means you're going to have the opportunity to get more, what did I say? Distressed houses. Get a distressed house. The same thing goes with jobs. Though, when the economy is up, it's easier to get a job. When the economy is down, it is harder to get a job. When the economy is poor, the part-time jobs go up, the full-time jobs go down. This is all part of the economy, and it all works upon itself. So, again, this being said, let's go into something that we want to talk about in preparing you to find the perfect job for you. Now, this is like buying a car. I'm not trying to go on a rant on this, but it's just like buying a car. If you go in and grab up this first opportunity you get, you're probably going to get a clunker. You're probably going to get a lemon. You're going to get a car that's not going to fulfill all the needs that you have, especially lasting for a long period of time. You have to be very methodical, intentional, and to be patient for the right opportunity to fall in your lap. Now, it might take you a long time to find the right opportunity, and maybe you don't have the time, and yes, then it calls for doing drastic measures. But if you have the time, take the time. Same thing with a job. If you have the time, put your feelers out. Go as many interviews as possible. Get as many job offers as possible. But don't take them if they're not exactly what you want, or close to what you want, or they are the means to an end, meaning there's a job, you're getting into the company where you actually want to be up here. If you want to be a lawyer and you're learning to be a lawyer, then go to a law firm and work in the mailroom. If you have to, work in the mailroom. Also, if maybe you're not a mailroom type of person, be a courier for a law office. Be a paralegal for the law office. Be something inside of a law office. Because in the end, when you do job interviews and they see that you worked for a law office, doesn't matter what your job is, boom, light goes on, they have some experience. Now, it might not be experience in exactly what you're going to be doing in your job, but they have experience with a law firm and they know the toxic environment that's in a law firm, or can be in a law firm. So, again, putting all of that to the side, because I keep saying I'm going to put all that to the side, let's go into the activity that I was talking about. Okay, so first off, the biggest thing to do when learning about job opportunities is to go find job possibilities. And this, whoops, oh, I guess I closed the window that I was going to bring up. This is where you want to bring up all the different job sites that you can find. Now, these are some of the job sites that I found, and I cannot get this to shrink. There we go. Or maybe not. Come on, shrink. There we go. This is not shrinkflation, because we're going to grow this image right now. Okay, so these are some of the biggest job providers or listers on the web. Now, this is actually a little bit older. This is probably about a year old. One of the biggest ones, there's two big ones. It's Indeed, which is up here, and there's ZipRecruiter. Now, ZipRecruiter, those that are recruiting have to pay a lot of money in order to use ZipRecruiter. Indeed, they don't have to pay a lot of money to use Indeed. So a lot of the job, the companies that are putting out jobs are going to go through Indeed or some of these other ones, including LinkedIn, which is a big one. I've never seen a job on Twitter, minus what's happening like your social network. All these little ones, some of them actually probably falling apart, but I'm going to show you some active ones that you will find. And let's bring that one up. So that is right here. So first off, you have Indeed. It's fairly easy to manage. What you're going to do for this activity, and this will take you about 2 to 3 hours to do the full activity, and you can read the details in the book. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out what industry you want to go into. This does not have anything to do with a website. You need to figure out where you want to be in your career. And so that does not mean just working fast food unless you want to be in a career working fast food. Now, you can do that to start off. That's great. There's a lot of easy jobs in fast food. Great. But if you actually want to find a career, and this is what I'm asking you to do for this activity, this exercise, is go in here and type in what you want to be, what you want to do. Woo, if you can actually type. Okay, so construction superintendent near Liberty, Missouri. I mean, Kansas City, but Liberty's going to be just fine. Okay, so commercial construction superintendent. Problem is, I don't have the background of commercial construction. So that one is next. So I can actually, not interested. Okay, next one, bridge superintendent. I have never built a bridge before. Not interested. Okay, site superintendent. Now that could be a lot of different things. Now, you can see what city it's from. You can also see the pay, the shifts, 8-hour shifts. That's the normal, full-time. And it's like up to $100 to $120,000 a year. That's a great way. I'm going to keep that one. maintenance superintendent. So I don't know anything about this. So what I can do is I can click on it. And in that click, I can see what they have required, read through it. Here's some of the benefits, and then there's the description for it. Are you currently a maintenance professional looking to learn and get into construction? This maintenance position will provide a general understanding of the entire building process and the ability to assist the field team with each phase of the project, inception to completion, and so on and so forth. And they'll give you a description of what you're going to, what this job is all about. So essential functions and such. So I can say, hey, this is a great one. I'm going to, and then you apply. So if I apply, wait for it to load, waiting. Okay, I would submit my resume, and now I'm not looking for a job, so I'm wondering if I should actually do this, but let's do it anyways. So continue. I'm going to submit that. Then they're going to ask me, when is the best day for me to interview? Let's do Wednesday, anytime. Thursday, anytime. Friday, anytime. Okay. Now, do you have a driver's license? Yes. Are you now here's a big one. Do you have valid OSHA 10? No, I do not. Not a valid one, not a current one. I did have OSHA, but no, I don't. Are you authorized to work in the United States? Yes. Do you have the ability to relocate near Overland Park, Kansas? Yes, or commute. Relocate or commute. So that's fine with me. Will you be able to reliably commute to Overland Park for this job? Yes. How many years maintenance do you have? Well, funny enough, I was actually maintenance before I went into construction. I already know construction, so I can say I have about 5 years in maintenance itself. Continue. Now in here, it's going to say, okay, do you have experience in HVAC? Yes. Do I have experience in maintenance management? Yes. Last job I had, superintendent for SAV Homes. It's a little bit old, but hey, you know what? There we go. And now that I've done that, I have just applied. Please review the information. Okay, yep. That's all my information. Submit your application. Great. So I submitted my application. Complete a test to help your application stand out. Attention to detail. Project timeline management. Now, I've actually done one of these. I don't know if you scored proficient, you scored proficient. Great, I did both. So they're going to say, do you want to share it? Yes, I want to share it. Share previous results. Continue. Yes. Boom, done. Okay, because I've already done it for another job interview a while back, but because I did it, they can use that for the future. Okay, so that's Indeed. That's how Indeed works. So I want you to go through, this is the task, to go through and find 2 to 3 different job applications. Yeah, that's 2 to 3. I would say for you, if you're actually looking for a job, go to at least 5. So find which 5 job postings you're interested in. And that could be from Indeed. That could be from ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is another one, a great one. So this one actually allows you to go in and it will find jobs for you as well as you finding jobs or you looking for jobs as well. What's this one? LinkedIn. Did you know that this social media network can actually find you jobs as well? And can also help you find companies' job posts that they've listed. Glassdoor. Now Glassdoor is interesting because this is a website that was created in order to open people's eyes of how much the employees were making. And this gives the average of what people are making. But what it also did is it also gave reviews on different employers. So you could actually see what people said about your employer as well. So you can look into that and see if that would be a good place to work. Next one, iHire. And there's a lot of these. These are the small ones. A lot of these are aggregate sites. They will actually grab from other sites and bring that information together. So you can actually get all that information fairly quickly. And then there's like local job posting sites. Look for all those. So this is the thing that you want to do. Now, go through the book. It'll give you a lot of background and introduction of job searches. And this is so much information I'm not going to give you to you all. Also another one is monster.com, which you haven't heard much about for a while. So I don't know what's happened to them. But that was another one that the book talks about. But again, we were writing this one 2 years ago, and job sites fail and some succeed. So again, biggest ones are Indeed and ZipRecruiter, which I have Indeed, LinkedIn, Monster, and Glassdoor. So I'll probably change the Monster to ZipRecruiter just because it's more well known now. And you're going to learn about all these different things before going into the job search. Now, the job search should take you about 30 minutes, and you should be able to find 2 to 3 job postings. So please find them. Find the ones that you want. Don't apply. This is not about you applying. This is about you finding jobs, printing them out, and then we're going to do something next. The next part is to go and write out your resume. Now, we actually have a podcast on this, so search out on our table of contents the resume workshop and look at what it takes to make a resume. And, truthfully, templates are just fine to work with. Now, you might want to put in some better, you're going to be putting in better information because it's all about you. But also, when you're meeting with your potential employer, you want to make sure that they see words in that resume that resonate with their job posting. So you want to modify your resume for the jobs that you really care about that are based off of what they're looking for. So these are all different parts of the resume writing process, because the next thing I want you to do is actually to go find that workshop, the resume workshop, and write a resume. Go to Word document or Google and find a template for a resume and write out a resume. Then show it to, actually, let's go with the next part. The next part, as part of this activity, and again, you're going to have to read more about it in the book, because there's a lot of information here, is going into an interview. I want you first to prepare, which is about a 15-minute activity. This is all the things that you have to figure out before you go into an interview, and then to do a mock-up interview. And this is basically where you meet with your parent, your teacher, or another student, and one plays the interviewer, one plays the person being interviewed. So this will allow you to have experience answering certain questions. And in the book, we give specific questions that people are going to be asking you when you go into an interview. So become very familiar with the interview process. Now, here's the thing. Here's the big thing. If you have the chance to land your dream job, but you have not done an interview, go to 2 or 3 before that job and test out your interviewing understanding, and find experiences that you're going to be able to say, hey, that wasn't the same experience. Now I learned something new. Or that was a horrible experience. I'm going to do better the next time. Learn every time you do an interview. So if you want your dream job, don't go in there fresh without doing interviews. Go to 2 or 3 or 4 interviews before that one interview, because that's going to be your bread and butter. That's where you want to be, and do them all before that one interview. So don't do too much prep, but you want to do enough prep so that you can actually be prepared and be comfortable. That's the biggest thing. If you go in an interview and you're fidgety and you're nervous, they're going to see that. Now, some will take pity on you because they know you're probably new at this, but it will not look good for your interview process. So go into other interviews that might be good jobs, but not going to be the one you want, the golden ticket. Go to all the silver tickets and enjoy the process. Now remember, you can feel relaxed in those because it's not going to be your golden ticket. Those are not the ones to get there. So feel relaxed. Feel the enjoyment of it. And even being relaxed, you will be more relaxed in the golden ticket interview because you had all these other ones beforehand. Now, as part of this activity, there's one more section that you need to know about, and that is that there will be a question there will be a reflection at the end of the activity. We want you to reflect on what you've learned from this process. Now, if you are actually looking for a job, then you might actually want to take it to the next level and actually go do interviews. Go past the mock interview, which you still should do, but then go get an actual job interview and see how you feel about it. Then come back and write your reflections. These are all reflections on you and how you're going to do in that dream job, dream interview. We want you to be comfortable. We want you to be upbeat. We want you to be very knowledgeable when you go into that dream job. So get experience. Be well experienced. But you know what? Hey, we're done. 25 minutes. It's a good size episode, and it's time for you to go do this activity. Yes, it's very important for you to do this activity because this is an activity that will set you up for success in the future. So thanks so much for joining me on this Debt-Free Millionaire Day and this podcast, and I hope you enjoy it. Just so you know, as I said, I was going to give you a little bit of background on the company itself. We are doing great. We have a lot of new people going on to Zogos and trying this out. Our game is actually in beta phase now, and it looks great. We're actually having investors look at it right now. So hopefully we get more information on that soon. But I'm not going to let you into all the rest of it until we get to that point. So I want to get you that information next, but I wanted to give you a little bit of update. So thanks again for joining us on this Debt-Free Millionaire podcast and personal finance course. Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.